Lumos!
I mean, if we're talking about Harry Potter, we had to start with a little magic, right?
Yes, we do.
Get ready for a dorky side, y'all.
Because today we are talking about all things Harry Potter, which Ashley and I are total freaks about.
Yep. So this might be our most scandalous episode yet, y'all. So we're going to have some fun today with this one, y'all, but we're also going to dive into a deeper conversation about discernment, fear, and how Christians engage in pop culture.
I'm going to share some stats with you, Ashley, because I pulled these up. So there have been 600 million plus copies of Harry Potter sold, 80 languages. It's a worldwide phenomenon. But then there's also backlash when it comes to bans, sermons, book burning, witchcraft, wizardry, like all the things. But it wasn't just about the books. It was a cultural earthquake in the church. And so fear spread faster than facts.
I remember, Andrea, the first time I heard about Harry Potter, it came out when I was in middle school. And you were probably a freshman, if I'm thinking correctly. I had to have been 6th or 7th grade, and it was just the books. My sister begged me. Of course, my sister was big on reading too. I owe that part of my personality, I think, and just my love of reading to my sister. But she begged me to read those books. I would not. I thought they were like the dorkiest thing until she took me to the first movie. And I left that movie in complete wonder and amazement. And so I ran to the store with my money and got every single book that was out thus far. And from there on out, like I was one of those crazy nuts that was like ordering, standing in line at midnight when the book dropped. If you all don't remember that, there was like midnight drops of that book. But one of the first things I remember hearing, because I did grow up in like that 90s church group era, was that it was demonic or satanic to read those. My mother didn't have a personal problem with them. There was other things that I was barred from watching, and we'll get into that into some later episodes. So when did your love of Harry Potter come about?
So mine was also, it peaked in high school. Like I read the first book, and I remember reading it under my covers because my grandma was like so weird about witchcraft and wizardry. So I was just reading it, and I love reading, and I love mystical, magical, like things that just take your mind off of just reality. I like things like that, but Christians saw danger messing with witchcraft, and it doesn't parallel with our beliefs, but we do actually see some parallels between the books and our Christian lifestyle with sacrificial love, courage, and redemption.
Yep. I wanted to look at this scripture for today, Philippians 4:8, that says, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." And that's where I think our discernment has to come in. Because discernment isn't about running from everything that looks different. It's about recognizing what is true underneath.
A lot of the big Harry Potter fanatics that I know, they believe in God. It doesn't mean everybody's wanting to like do witchcraft or whatever. It's just, it's an escape of reality. It's fun. It's enchanting. It's mystical. It's like, oh, did my Hogwarts letter get lost in the mail? It gets a bad rap, and it's really not.
It shows up like periodically, like there's almost like seasons of it. Like right now, I would equate it to, there has been a rise of Christians not wanting to celebrate Halloween here lately. Have you noticed that? I have, just on my personal like Facebook feed. That was never a question for us growing up. I think, at least me personally, I never heard that it was against Christianity to celebrate Halloween, to get dressed up, to go do the things. I'm hearing a lot more of that now. The Halloween debates like trunk or treat, or do we totally boycott? Christians love a good argument. There's some that are for it, some that are against it. And honestly, I'm not here to make fun of anybody, right? And I want to get that clear, because I had family members that were completely against Harry Potter, and I had people I went to church with that were completely against Harry Potter. And the Bible does say to stay away from witchcraft, but I think you also have to look at, is this really about witchcraft, or is it about a story of good versus evil? And I think that's where we get into Harry Potter. When you're ignorant on a subject you lack a certain knowledge about, it's very easily you're manipulated. Not necessarily manipulated even, but you're it's easy to get an opinion on something.
Yeah. Well, think about it, because if you're ignorant on what Harry Potter's about, but you make a judgment to ban the book, to ban the movies from your household, but you have no knowledge of what is really in it, just hearsay. I mean, in some way that is, you were manipulated.
But the wild part about that, Andrea, the part that has always gotten me is the line, "The Witch in the Wardrobe," right? Because I feel like people saw Harry Potter School of Witchcraft and Wizardry and automatically took out their pitchforks and went, burning books in the street. Yeah. But we've got, just because it was by C.S. Lewis, the line, "The Witch in the Wardrobe" is quite literally about a witch and going into, Narnia, this magical place where magical things happen. And because it was a well-known Christian author, there's not a huge difference in the story. I don't feel like
it's very similar. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Harry Potter and the Witch in the Wardrobe have very similar plots, not necessarily exact, but they're definitely all about good versus evil and right versus wrong, and loyalty and love and that type of thing. So before we get deep into it, Andrea, let's talk houses. Because I think our houses may surprise people. If y'all don't know, you can go take the sorting
surprise people.
I think it will.
What do you think I am?
See, I always thought you were a Ravenclaw. I thought you would have had to have been a Ravenclaw because you're a teacher. I know. It's crazy. And see, honestly, because I give main character energy,
I would have thought Gryffindor. Yeah.
I would have so thought I was a Gryffindor, but I'm not. I'm a Ravenclaw. Mm-hmm. I am a Ravenclaw. So I don't know. Apparently, overthinking is my superpower.
I'm a honey badger.
But no, because Hufflepuffs are loyal and fair, and they feed everybody emotionally and literally, right? Mm-hmm. And that's Andrea. That really is Andrea. You would think she's a Ravenclaw because she's a teacher and she's studious and she makes all the good grades, but no, she's a Hufflepuff. And I will say though, after really thinking about it, Ravenclaws are thinkers. Mm-hmm. And they like to deep dive into stuff. That's how I am with the Bible. I get almost obsessive about things that I research. And I will even say that Andrea and I are both big supporters of education. Both of us. But I get obsessive about things. Andrea's great with stats. I don't want to just give a stat. I want to peel back some onion layers and go deeper so it kind of does make sense. Mm-hmm. But every house in the Hogwarts world has something good.
the characters on the line, The Witch and the Wardrobe, I saw this TikTok on it, and it was talking about like the characters, which house would they be in, and like it sorts them kind of in the same way. So I'm like you, like, why are we hating on this if it's so similarly aligned just because it had an uber Christian author?
And I think that it's a reflection, the houses are a reflection of humanity, flawed people, learning courage, loyalty, self-control, all the fruits of the Spirit, right? Those lessons are deeply spiritual. And I think, so you're right, there is a lot of alignment. Like when Harry's mom gives up her life to save him. Spoiler alert, y'all, if y'all have not read her. I mean, there is a deep-rooted theme of sacrificial love in Harry Potter. Now, we're not saying it's gospel, but is it gospel aligned? Yes. Give up your life for the good of someone else? Yes, that's what we're called to do. Harry's mom does that. One of the things I love about Neville in the first book is when he tries to stop his friends from disobeying the rules and leaving. They were on their way on a mission to save the school, to save, the wizarding world, but in order for them to do that, they had to break a rule or two, right? And sometimes that happens. But he stands up and has courage enough to stick up for his friends, and in the end he gets rewarded for that. Like, that's a huge plot twist. The Gryffindors end up winning the House Cup because of Neville's courage that most people don't get credit for. That type of courage, the courage it takes to stand up to somebody's friends when they're doing something wrong.
Also, when he slays he also gets to slay the serpent.
That's right.
You love that was Neville. Like,
yes. And like
underdog until the end.
Like the very end, and again, y'all, spoilers, if you've not watched Harry Potter, I suggest you go watch them and read them all. But like during Deathly Hallows, when Harry has to die to himself, literally, to save his friends.
Well, and even when he is, they're kind of he and his friends are in solitude, and he goes down to the lake, and I mean, it's almost kind of like Jesus, like when Jesus goes off to pray knowing he's getting ready to die.
Yeah.
And the significance of that, and knowing that he doesn't want to, but he knows he has to. It was kind of the same piece. That's what I don't understand, why people hate on it. I know that it's wizardry and all that stuff, but still at the same time, like, it really does align with
some good
events of the Bible. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some good truths in that. Light always wins. When you want to talk about power struggles over, like, the Elder Wand. Yeah. And the fact that he defeats him without trying to kill him. Mm-hmm. That, too. What ends up happening, and it's clearer in the books, is when Harry and Voldemort go head-to-head, Voldemort throws out a killing curse, and Harry throws out a curse to just disarm him. And what ends up happening is, because of Voldemort's actions, his curse rebounds onto himself, is what ultimately is Voldemort's demise, is himself, because he is evil. I mean, there is so much symmetry. So much symmetry. I think that we could probably go on, truthfully, for hours, just pointing out the different parallel of good versus evil, even down to Professor Quirrell having two parts of himself, right? He had the evil part, or the flesh, attached to the back of his head that he kept hidden. And at the end, it's revealed that the evilness has been in control the whole time, and he's had to keep it hidden. That's what we do. We hide our evil parts. We keep them hidden, and a lot of times they're the ones running the show. I mean, there's so much, so much. I encourage all you Christian mamas out there that have not allowed your children to read or watch Harry Potter. Use your own discretion. You watch them, you read them first. But I'm telling you, the book burnings and all that, completely out of hand for what Harry Potter is.
Even at the end, it is the good versus evil, but in the end, Harry snaps the wand. That signified the force of power. We were all fighting over this wand. It's just even when Jesus, they were going to the Romans, they were passing back and forth of who had the power to execute. And and just really, what is power? What is it? In the movie, it was just a stick. That's all it was.
And that's an amazing moment, too, for someone to realize that they have in their hands all the power in the world. And to say, what I want is my friends. I want a life of peace and rest. That is an amazing decision, y'all. Think about that. Think about our government. And think about what they teach versus what Harry taught in the final scenes of that. We are in a constant power struggle. All the time, all around us, whether you're left, right, middle, up or down, right? Andrea, I think we don't agree on a lot of politics, but Andrea and I can agree on that, is that everybody's corrupt. Everything is jacked up. All it is about power. And to have a symbol teaching children early on that sacrificial love, not needing power to be happy and to live a fulfilled life, working hard for your goals, because that was the other thing. They showed the process of him going to figure out what he wanted to be. He wanted to be essentially like a detective or a police officer for the Ministry of Magic. And he has to sit down and have a hard conversation with one of his professors because he needed to meet additional requirements for it, right? So, it teaches a lot of good, biblically founded ideas in those books and in those movies. I think there is nothing I have ever seen that is more wholesome, at least not written or done in our lifetime. Probably, I would venture to say in our lifetime, there's not been anything as wholesome and as pure as Harry Potter.
There's so many articles online about the parallels of Christianity and Christ to Harry Potter that, if you wanted to signify and make a connection for your children, even, you could do that and show them the connections that are made between the two, so that the focus is not on wizardry. You could kind of show them that there's this underlying meaning to the books. So that way, because even Harry's self-sacrifice destroys Voldemort's power. Okay, well, Jesus's death, his sacrifice, breaks sin power over all of humanity.
Yeah.
And so there's just a lot of parallels, and you can find a lot of articles that you can make those connections to as parents.
I do. I completely understand the caution, because the Bible is very clear that there are certain things that God wants us to steer clear of. So we don't have to panic every time the culture shifts. God is not pacing the throne room wondering what's trending. Fear makes us build walls. Wisdom helps us build bridges.
Right, Ashley. You're so right. So next time that culture gives you something that you're wrestling with, whether it's Harry Potter or even what's coming up with Halloween or anything else, ask what is what story is this really telling? Because sometimes we can get so fixated on what other people are saying that we don't really think of, where can I see God and God's truth in this?
Great. All right, guys. Until next time.
We should do this
more often.